Hello, everybody. So, welcome to today's webinar. We are going to be talking about search engine optimization. And I was so excited because we had a huge amount of people that registered for this webinar. So, very, very excited to be able to talk about this because, in the marketing world, and especially when it comes to search engine optimization, when it comes to things like social media, it's changing constantly and it's hard to keep up. And you may have been doing some search engine optimization in the past and had really good results, and all of a sudden wondering, like, gosh, why am I not getting as many leads? Why are my leads not as qualified anymore? And so today we're going to unpack the latest updates as it relates to Google and your search engine optimization. And I'm going to pack a ton of information in a short amount of time. So really, really excited to have all of you guys here today. So we will go ahead and get started. And this is going to also be recorded. So for any of you that aren't able to watch live, we will get the replay out to you probably within about 24 to 48 hours. All right. So as I mentioned, we're going to be talking all about search engine optimization. Now, I like to share this kind of as an overall guide of all of the things that you need to do to really accelerate your growth. And if we take a look at the inside here, we've got drive leads, right? That's the first thing that we need to do is we need to drive traffic to your business so that people know who you are, what your specialty is, and all the different technologies and services that you can provide to help patients. And so you drive leads through really three main ways. Number one, organic SEO. Then you've got paid search, and then you've got database reactivation. So you can drive leads even from your existing patients. From there, what you want to do is you want to think about, okay, you've got the traffic. How can we maximize the conversion so that more people are actually raising their hand and saying, hey, yes, I am interested in what it is that you have to offer and how you may be able to help me in my health journey. And so optimizing the conversion are things like making sure that your website is positioned for people to have a great user experience, to be able to learn a little bit about who you are. Your online reputation also is something that people are going to look at. And then automation. So that's where we can use things like email and text automated reminders to actually get those leads to turn into patients. And then lastly, you need to optimize your results. So when you're spending money on marketing and you're spending time and energy on marketing, you want to make sure that you're getting a good ROI, and you want to be able to track your average cost per lead and get those high quality leads at the lowest possible price. And so what we're going to talk about today are some components of this. So we're going to talk about organic SEO. We're going to talk about how you can optimize your website for conversion, how you can improve your online reputation, and then ultimately how search engine optimization can give you some of the highest ROI for the least possible cost per lead. And this is really part of an overall marketing strategy. So your search engine optimization, I really believe is the foundation of your marketing. And a lot of times they'll see people, they're spending a lot of time doing social media. Maybe they're doing some email marketing, and we take a look at their SEO, and a lot of that foundational stuff isn't even there. So it's sort of like they're doing marketing 301 and they haven't built that strong foundation in doing some of the marketing 101 things that they need to do with SEO. And so this is kind of what we like to call the Dr. Marketing Mastery System. So if you're really going to dominate your market, you have to have search engine optimization as part of this, in addition to some of these other things, from social media, email marketing, events, podcasting is really big now as well. So again, today we're going to take a deep dive into the SEO piece of the Dr. Marketing Mastery System. And so again, would love your undivided attention. I know these sort of things, we all like to multitask. You're not going to absorb the information if you've got your cell phone buzzing and your social media is dinging here and there. So if you are really serious about getting better results this year, I can promise you this next 35 minutes is going to be well worth your time in turning some of that sort of stuff off. And so what we're going to cover is four main things. SEO person and your website people are mindful of. We also want to, once your website has got that really solid foundation, how can you do some off-page marketing tactics to drive additional eyeballs to your business and to your website? And then we're going to close it out. I'm going to give you guys a checklist for success, things that you can start implementing as soon as tomorrow that you can take away and really give you guys actionable steps. One thing you'll learn about me is that I don't like a lot of fluff. I like a lot of tactical, actual how you need to do things. And so that's one of the things that I hope to really deliver to you guys today. And as always, I love having a couple of little ethical bribes to stick with me to the end. So I got a couple of little freebies for you at the end of the talk. So who am I and why should you listen to me? So I am Lori Werner. I am the founder of Medical Marketing Wiz. We are a marketing agency specializing in women's health, functional medicine, and anti-aging medicine. We work with physicians and healthcare providers across both the United States and Canada. My background, my previous life before this is I actually was in medical device sales. So I worked for Hologic, a very large women's health company. I was in the OR, so did a lot of stuff in surgeries with physicians. I've literally been in, gosh, I don't even know how many surgeries and how many doctor's offices over the course of my 15-year career in medical sales. But through that, I've definitely seen the folks that are thriving and the folks that are struggling. I also have a couple of books on Amazon.com. So my co-author, Sherry Sabraka, and I have 2 books on Amazon, one called Lady Doc Marketing and one called Naturopathic Marketing. And you can see all the other little awards and accolades that we have here. But at the end of the day, I'm really proud to say that our team, we're a woman-led team. We focus on a lot of women's health sort of subjects. And really, I like to say that we, in a lot of ways, are your ideal patient. So everything that we do as far as our that the things that I'm going to be talking about today are not just some blog article that I read or some podcast that I listened to. These are actually things that we have implemented at hundreds of offices across the whole country. Okay, so you're telling me my sound is going in and out. So let me unplug my mic here really quick. Give me 1 second. I'm going to switch my mic. So hopefully that helps. Okay, I think I got that switched. Let me just double check. Can you guys still hear me? Okay, good. Sorry about that. Always a little bit of technical fun with these sorts of things. All right, perfect. So again, just a little bit about us. Our mission is to ultimately help doctors get their name out there, but really kind of bigger than that is helping patients actually find the best doctor. Who may be looking for somebody to take this over for you. So I'm actually going to have Courtney in the chat go ahead and put my link. So if as we're going through this today, you want to set up a call, feel free to book on my calendar and we can go ahead and kind of take a look at some of the specific things going on with your practice. All right. So the first question here is, does SEO still matter? And I think this is actually a valid question because, there's so many new things coming out with marketing and things that you have to keep on top of. Is SEO something that you still need to focus on? Well, we know I wouldn't be doing a webinar on this if that wasn't the case. But yes, absolutely. SEO, it is foundational. It is something you absolutely have to have in place really before you're even doing anything else. And that's because 70% of people that are online Their whole online experience is beginning with that search engine, doing a search about you. 55% of your website traffic, or I'm sorry, 53% of website traffic comes from organic search, so non-paid. And SEO, this third one is I love this. And this is, again, it's not as fun and exciting as social media, but it drives 1000% more traffic than organic social media does. SEO leads also have a higher close ratio. These are people that are further down the decision-making process. So it's really, really important that you have an SEO strategy in place. Now, this is as of 2024, all of the different things that Google looks for in terms of search engine optimization. And there's actually over 200 different factors in SEO. I wish it was easy. I wish we could just say, hey, you know, this is as simple as just like optimizing your website, or it's as simple as like having a Google My Business listing. There's technical aspects to your SEO. So that's things like your indexing, your sitemap, your hosting speed, your SSL certificate on your website. Then you have what we call on-page SEO. This is going to be your headers, your meta tags, your titles, your keyword density, how your images and your videos are optimized on your page. And then we have what we call off-page SEO. So these are things online that are talking about or mentioning your practice. So backlinks, your social media, your citations, like your Google business profile, any press releases or PR that you've done, podcasts you've been on, all Google is really looking at the experience. So this is going to be, how do users interact with your experience on your website? Are they watching videos? Is it easy for them to get access to calls to action and book an appointment? And so we like to simplify notes here that I'm breaking up a lot. So if you guys can just let me know. Thing here real quick. I'm gonna switch something real quick. Hang on. See if I can make this any better. Okay. Let me see if this is any better. Still frozen for me. All right. Give me, Courtney, let me know if this is any better. And I want to keep going if it's stuck. Okay, it's better. All right, perfect. Hopefully that resolved it. Sorry about that, you guys. All right, moving on. Ranking factors. So I talked to you a little bit about the technical, the on-page SEO, the off-page SEO, and the experience on your website. This is a breakdown. This actually came out at the end of last year on Google. How do each of those things impact your overall search engine optimization? So number one, the red section here is going to be on page. So that's going to be the user experience, as well as the components of your website, making sure it loads quickly, making sure that you have keyword rich content, that your title tags and everything are accurate. The big blue one here, GMB or GPB, that stands for Google Business Profile. So that is 30% of your overall SEO picture is going to be your Google Business Profile. Then we have reviews. So 13% of your Google search ranking has to do with the number of reviews that you have. This is really, really important. And again, if you kind of think about yourself, like reviews come into a big, they're a big player in like just researching honestly anything online. We all look up reviews, and your patients absolutely are doing that as well. The green section is links. So we're going to talk about how to get high quality links, off page links back to your website. Citations, those are the top one up there, up in the top corner. Those again are things like your health grades, your vitals, like anything else that is pointing back to your website from a directory listing standpoint. And then behavioral is going to be just, again, like how easy is it to navigate your site? You know, is it working on a phone? Hopefully you're not having technical glitches on your website like we are here today on this webinar. Those are all things that are important in terms of how you're ranking and how Google is determining, are they going to show you or are they going to show somebody else over you when somebody is searching? And so to keep it really simple, we're going to go over these top 3 things that you need to do to rank organically in the top 3 search results. So we're going to talk about on-page SEO, we're going to talk about Google Business and directory listings, and then we're going to talk about reviews. All right, so first is looking at the website ranking factors for Google. What does Google want? And what can you do to your website to make sure that you meet as many of these criteria as possible? So first thing is going to be the content. You want to make sure that you have a full page of content for every single service that you have. So if you are a gynecologist and you're doing traditional obstetrics, you're doing in-office hysteroscopies, you're doing minimally invasive surgery, you're doing intimate wellness, you're doing hormones, you technically need one page of content for every single one of those individual services in order for Google to even find your website. They also look at freshness. You know, is this a website that was made 3 years ago and hasn't really been touched? Or are you adding things like blogs? Do you have events? Do you have things coming up that you're adding new and fresh content to your website? They're looking at the quality of your backlinks. And I'll talk to you a little bit later about how to get those high quality backlinks. In the old days, it was kind of when, you know, people were doing SEO and they would get you some backlinks. Like it didn't necessarily matter if they were actually relevant sites or not. Google does really care now about the places that are talking about your business. It really does need to be a high authority website. And I'm going to show you some quick and easy ways to generate those backlinks. How fast does your page load? This is a big thing. You know, people are very impatient, and so is the algorithm of Google. Their job, Google's job, is to give that person the fastest answer, most accurate answer to the question that they're asking. So if they're looking for best functional medicine doctor near me, if your page takes a while to load, that algorithm has already zipped past you and gone on to the next website to rank instead of you. So page speed is big. And then we'll get into some of these other more nuanced aspects of that on-page optimization. So I do these calls every single week where I'll get on and I'll do like a report on taking a peek at their overall website performance. We also look at things like their SEO. So I want to kind of dive into this real quick and just explain this to you. So first thing is this website is not getting ranked very well at all in terms of its overall performance. And the reason is, number one, the page size. So a lot of times when people build websites, they're downloading a high resolution image that takes a really, really long time to load. That slows down your site. You don't necessarily need HD pictures. Like you want them to be good quality, but for viewing it on a computer screen or a phone, it doesn't need to be like the highest pixel resolution possible. It'll just slow your site down. Page requests. So this, it's kind of hard for me to see because it's teeny tiny here. Hopefully you guys can read this, but essentially like these can be different requests on the page that are slowing down the speed of the site. Page speed, again, this has to do sometimes with images, the number of videos and things. So this is something real quick that you can do a scan. You can send this to your web person and see if they can just speed up the performance of your website. Google will automatically rank you higher for doing that. And then the other thing I see this is actually from a real report that I did this last week with a customer that had a gorgeous looking website. The problem is that sometimes people are really good designers, but they don't know how to do the under the hood tagging and descriptions and H1 tags that actually tell Google what's on the page. So it's the equivalent of building the most beautiful office in the whole world and never putting a sign out front for people to know that you're there. It doesn't matter how pretty your office is, people don't know that you exist. The same thing here. You can have a great looking website. If you don't have some of these under the hood components of your site done, Google doesn't know that your site's there, and therefore you just won't come up. So the second one here that says meta description. Meta descriptions tell people what your page is about in the search results. So this is an example of a great looking website. The web developer put no descriptions on any of the pages. Again, descriptive text on the link. This one isn't as big of a deal, but this has to do with like the calls to action. Are they really generic or are they descriptive? So these are, again, really important foundational components of your website that need to be done. The other thing is making sure that your website is showing that you are an expert and that you're credible. And what we find is that 75% of visitors will leave your website due to lack of credibility and authority. And so if they go to your website and it's all stock photos and there's nothing really that tells them that you're any different than anybody else, most likely they're moving on to a different office. So adding things like social proof components, these are things that when we talk at the beginning about conversion, they will improve the conversion and appointment request on your website by up to 48% instantly. So we'll talk a little bit about what are some of those authority and credibility components of your website that you can add. One of the things that's very easy to do is to just take an inventory of all of the things that set you apart. So are you a board certified physician? Have you won any awards, top doc awards, best of city awards? Do you have any affiliations? Are you part of like a couple examples down here? For example, I'm part of the International Society for the Study of Women's Sexual Health. I serve on their social media committee. I want my website to say that on there, not just buried in my bio on page 2 of the website. I want it to be on the home page of the website. Same thing with you as a physician. These credibility logos should be on the home page, preferably almost like under the hero image of your site, so that when somebody comes to your website, immediately they see that you're an authority, you're an expert, and that they can trust you as a provider. So this is, again, a simple thing that you can do, and you will notice not only is it going to help that user experience, it's going to help your conversions because more people are going to see you as that expert and want to read more. As far as content goes, it used to be you could, just create some really great blog posts and put them on your website. The truth is that in the new algorithm for Google, a simple blog post on your site just really doesn't cut it anymore. So one of the things that you can do, and again, I like blogs. Blogs are part of our SEO strategy. But what we want to do is we want to take that blog article and we want to send that out, what we call syndicate that article out via Presswire. And so what happens is this article that can talk about, like, maybe you have a new provider, maybe you just celebrated your 10-year anniversary of your practice. Maybe you have a new service and you just came back from a training and you now have this new certification. You bought a new piece of equipment that you're really excited to launch. All of those things are newsworthy. They can be a blog article, but then what we do is we send that out via Presswire. And so for any of you guys have ever heard the term press release before, basically what this is this is an article that gets sent out via Presswire, and it gets sent to your local ABC station, your NBC station, your Fox channel, your local newspaper, the radio stations, all of these sort of online high authority news sites host your article on their website. And I can tell you these news sites are always looking for new content. And so these press wire services are really amazing for being able to push this sort of content out. And so rather than it just being on your website, your article talking about your new service or your new specialty, those things are all over the internet pointing back to your website. This is some of that off-page backlinking that you can get. So press releases are really kind of a secret, little secret that a lot of people don't realize can be really, really powerful in taking that blog article and 100xing it out on the internet. So the next thing I want to talk about, we talked a little bit about the website and some of the high level things that you want to do with page speed and content and blogs and now press releases. And now I want to talk to you about Google Business. And your website is really just the tip of the iceberg. Google My Business, as we talked about a few slides back, is over 30% of your overall search ranking has to do with how well optimized your Google Business profile is. And then we're also going to talk about other online directory listings besides Google. So when we look at this one here, just searching for a functional medicine office in Bethesda, Maryland, who do you think probably gets the most phone calls? Right? It's clearly going to be this top one here. They've got 163 reviews. They've got 4.7 star. When you look at the competitors, it doesn't really even look like many people are going there. Now they're in the top 3 results, but definitely number 1 is getting the most clicks. So what our goal here is to get you in what we call the Google 3-pack. That's these top 3 results. And you also want to make sure that you stand out like this office with having the best online reputation. This office looks like the expert, and I can guarantee you they're getting the most phone calls, and it costs you $0 to be able to rank number 1. They're not paying for the spot. They've earned it. So what is a Google Business Profile? The Google Business Profile is the number 1 local business listing that you can have anywhere online about your practice. It shows up before the Google, your website. It's going to show up higher than your website. It's going to show higher really than any other mention of your business. You'll typically see it linked with the Google Maps, and it's a core element of your SEO. And so how do you go about optimizing this listing? Well, first thing is you got to claim the listing. So this is just an example here of where we've got the business name, we've got categories. So this office is a medical spa, but they also do some skincare stuff. If you're a gynecologist, you might want to have gynecologist, obstetrician gynecologist, women's health clinic. If you're a functional medicine doctor, you want alternative medicine, holistic medicine. So there's up to 9 categories that you can have listed on Google, but you want to make sure your primary category is your actual real category. A lot of times they'll have people, their primary category is doctor, or their primary category is medical clinic. Well, nobody is searching for the word medical clinic. In fact, if that's your main category, you're going to compete with hospital systems. You're not going to compete with those that are actually in your specialty. So you want to make sure that primary category is correct, but then you want to make sure you have all the other categories that are applicable for your practice. You want to have a keyword-rich description. You want to have all of your service areas. So you'll see at the bottom, we don't just have the address. We have all of the other towns around here that this person wants to get ranked for and wants to attract patients from. And then under services, you want to list all of your services. So you can align this very much with the different service pages that you have on your website. So you'll notice, this office is doing some stuff with women's intimate wellness. Like we want to have that listed on Google. This other little section here under the from the business, there's some extra categories in there. This particular office is a woman-owned business. There's Latin American owned, there's African American owned, there's Latino owned, there's veteran owned. So there's a lot of different categories. You want to make sure that you have those specified on Google. The more complete your profile, the higher they will reward you in the search results. So it isn't always only about reviews. It's some of this under the hood stuff of your listing that need to be done. Now, again, what the beauty of this is, it doesn't cost you anything to optimize your Google business profile, but it's things that a lot of times are forgotten. If your listing isn't claimed, they're going to make you jump through a couple of hoops. So they may send a postcard to the office to let people know. They just want to verify that it is an actual address. And then lately, we've been seeing a lot of this like video verification where you have to actually be live at your business. You have to videotape the signage. You have to videotape something that shows that you actually are the owner of this business. So they are making people jump through, I feel like, a lot more hoops lately, but it is definitely worth it because once you have claimed it, you can make all of those edits. You're going to get notified if somebody leaves you a good or a bad review, and you can track your statistics. So you can see, am I getting more hits to my website? Am I getting more direction requests? Am I getting more messages and things like that? So make sure that you've got this listing claimed. And then photos. So you want to make sure that you add photos. If you don't add photos, Google is adding photos for you. And a lot of times it's like a picture of like a dumpster in the back of your clinic. You want to make sure that you've got high quality photos. So your logo, a cover photo, these are the things that people are going to see on Google search and Google Maps. So those two things are the most important. Make sure you have an external street view of the building and a picture of the inside of your office, a photo of the doctor or owner, and then a couple of photos just demonstrating you at work or your team. The more of these you have, the more that it helps Google rank you. In fact, businesses that have photos are going to receive 42% more requests for driving directions and 35% more clicks to their website than people that don't have photos. So again, freshen that up, take some new photos, add them to your Google business profile. This is, again, just an example. One of our clients, he's got pictures with all the different devices that he has. He's got, a smiling picture of him and his team. Again, just really, really making sure that if people come to your Google profile, like they feel like they can get to know you, they get to see what the office is like, and Google will reward you for having those photos on your listing. The other thing you can do on Google is you can do posts. Now, we do social media marketing, so we are able to connect the Google business profile to not only Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and LinkedIn, but you can also just post on your Google business directly. It is a little bit more manual of a process if you do it that way. This is the section that you'll do it in. So you can create a post. You can talk about what's new in the office. You can talk about the new services you bring on, and you can add your events. So if you're doing events and webinars, tell Google that you're doing them, and you do it through your Google business profile. These posts do expire though every 7 days. So again, it's something that you do need to do consistently. And this is, again, just what I love about this is going to you can measure the results. So this is on 90 days before versus 90 days after of one of our clients. So optimizing their Google business profile, they went from 10,000 map views in the 90 days before to 28,000 map views 90 days after. Their overall search views went from 9,000 to over 14,000 in only 90 days. So this is something that is very, very fruitful as far as putting in the effort doing it. You can absolutely measure your results. The other major listings. So we talked a lot about Google. The thing that a lot of people forget about is anybody that has a Microsoft computer, their default browser is Bing. A lot of people they think they're Googling, but they're actually Binging. They're actually using Bing as their search engine. So you need to have a profile on Bing, or you're missing out on all of those people that are using Bing as their search engine. Apple Maps. So everybody that has an iPhone is using Apple Maps. Apple Maps is actually linked to Yelp. So yes, you need a Yelp profile. I always say I kind of have a love-hate relationship with Yelp. I love it because it can definitely drive traffic, but the company itself, I don't really love some of their tactics. But at the end of the day, you do have to have a Yelp profile. And then obviously you've got your social media. You've got things like Healthgrade, ZocDocs, Vitals, all of the vehicle navigation systems. These are all very high quality links back to your practice. Again, helping you organically rank higher. You dominate the search results. This is another quick little scan report. I kind of want to explain to you guys what this is all about. So we'll take a look at somebody's Google, Bing, and Yelp. And so this particular example here, you've got a very well optimized Google profile. It's claimed. They've got consistency with what we call NAP, name, address, phone number. That's another really important thing, making sure that those are consistent. The way your business is named, all the way down to the punctuation mark, needs to be the same. Then Bing, they've got a Bing profile, but they haven't claimed it. So they don't have a website listed. They don't have their hours. They don't have any photos. They don't have any reviews. Yelp, they don't have a profile at all. So definitely some room for improvement there. And then directories. So this is just a very small snapshot of, there's literally hundreds of these directory listings out there. They don't have a profile for any of these. So a big opportunity to get some external off-page search engine optimization backlinks by building out some of those directories. Again, we're not building these links because somebody's going to Alignable to find a doctor. That's not the point. We're doing it because these are considered high authority links back to your site. So some of the key factors, not only with your Google listing, but really all of those other listings, are what we call NAP, name, address, and phone number consistency. This means that if my company is called Medical Marketing Wiz, and then I name it something different, Lori Werner Medical Marketing Wiz, on a different profile, that confuses Google. Is the business name this, or is the business name this? And ultimately, it doesn't give them the confidence to show you in the result. So that's why it is good to do that scan to see, do you have consistency of your name, address, and phone number? You need to have a short and a long description on those listings of what your practice does. And then you want to add all of your keywords and the primary categories like we talked about with Google. So that's going to be consistent across all of those directory listings. And then you want to update your listing. So just make sure, if you're going to be closed for Memorial Day, mark yourself closed on that day. You'll be surprised how many people think a business is open. They go there and it's not open, or they call and they're closed and nobody's answering, but on Google, it says that you're open. So just make sure that you're updating those things. Add, like we talked about, add some fresh content, add your webinars, add your events, accept or reject suggested edits. So a lot of times that's the other reason why you really have to have somebody managing these listings, because I've seen offices where all of a sudden, like, their phone number is changed on Google and they don't even know. They don't understand why they're not getting any phone calls, but somebody suggested an edit. And if you don't reply to it, sometimes they'll just accept it. And here you go. Now it's changed. So you need to be on top of these and managing them and making sure that you're either accepting or rejecting any of those suggested edits. And then monitoring and responding to your reviews. Reviews are extremely, extremely important when it comes to your search ranking and conversion. People are going to read your reviews, and you want to make sure you have a good number of reviews and that your reviews are overall positive. We're always going to get the one or two negative Nellies here and there, but overall, 4.8 stars or higher, you want to make sure, because that's something that you need to be paying attention to, and that does matter. And so I love this quote by Warren Buffett that just says, we take sometimes 20 years, sometimes more, to build that reputation. And all it takes is one or two people to ruin it. And if you think about that, you really would do things differently. And so we want to make sure that we're asking people for reviews. Survey your patients. This is good feedback. Even negative feedback is helpful. It helps you to improve. It helps your staff to make sure that, they're representing your practice in the right way. Google reviews are the most important place to get reviews. I see a lot of times, we had one client that they had like 500 reviews on something called realpatientratings.com. Nobody is going to realpatientratings.com to research a doctor. They're going to Google. Now, the only caveat to this is that Google, if you don't have a Gmail email, you can't leave a Google review because they don't allow anonymous reviews. So if your patient has a Hotmail email or an AOL email, they're not going to be able to leave a Google review. So you need to have some secondary options, maybe Yelp, maybe Facebook, some of those other sites like Health Grades, might not be a bad idea, but your number one priority needs to be the reviews on Google. The other thing is just make sure you know how many reviews your competitors have and set a goal for getting more reviews than them. And there's ways that you can do this. You can do it the old-fashioned way with just asking people to leave your reviews, using things like QR codes or having a sign at the office where people can scan and leave your review. And then there's also obviously software that can do some really cool things, like getting surveys, and if the person isn't happy, it gives you an opportunity to remedy that before they actually go to Google to leave a review. So you want to make sure that you are being consistent about getting these reviews. And then you want to just make sure you respond. So again, that's, if you're getting reviews or your latest review was 3 years ago, it's not fresh enough content. And you want to make sure that you're replying in a HIPAA compliant way. As physicians, you do need to be mindful of that, right? Like, you're really not supposed to acknowledge that they're a patient. So we've actually worked with an attorney to craft some HIPAA compliant review responses. And then we go ahead and respond to reviews for our customers. But at the same time, like, just make sure that you're replying just with a simple, like, hey, thank you so much for leaving the review. It really means a lot to us. Something simple like that. Google does care if you're replying to the reviews or not. And it does help you with SEO. So overall, I've touched on a lot of things, right? I've talked about on-page SEO, getting the page speed, compressing your images, doing some really good quality content on your website. We've talked about press releases and the ability to really get some high quality backlinks and being able to say on your website, you were as seen in NBC and ABC and Google News and all of those sorts of things. Optimizing your Google business profile, plus building out all of those other online major listings, making sure your name, address, and phone number are consistent, making sure you have descriptions, you've got your keywords, you've got all of your services listed on all these directories. You've added photos and videos, you're updating, you're adding your events, you're getting more reviews than your competitors, and you're responding to all of those reviews. And in fact, we've put together a checklist, which I'm going to give you guys. Everybody that's registered for this, you're going to get a checklist with all of the things that you can do to make sure that you've got a really, really solid SEO foundation. So I see there's a lot of questions here. I'm very excited that my internet is much better now. Sorry for the beginning there, going in and out. But hopefully you guys got a couple of takeaways that you can do to start to improve your overall SEO, whether that's on page, whether that's off page, but taught you guys a few new tricks and tips. If you need help with this, I'm going to have Courtney put in the chat the code that this QR goes to. I am happy to get on and do a visibility scan, give you guys the results of that. Do a website scan. This is always, it's eye-opening because sometimes, people are paying an SEO company and then they kind of find out like some of the stuff isn't done or maybe isn't as optimized as it could be. So it's always even a good little kind of accountability. I've been able to give them some of the tactics that they take back to their company, and then they can get some of that stuff fixed on their own. So we will do that for you. We'll also spend a full hour just talking about kind of what you're doing for marketing, right? Like whether it's SEO, whether we're going to talk about social media, webinar ideas, email marketing. We will give you a 30-page report with little training videos in it and a full analysis of your practice. So that's something I'm happy to set aside time. I do this all day, every day. So happy to have our team put that together for you. And again, I apologize for the connection issue at the beginning. Probably what I'll do, you guys, is I'm going to go ahead and re-record this so that when the replay goes out, you guys don't have to fumble through the connections issues at the beginning. So maybe give me a day to do that and I'll send that out to you so that you'll have that to review. I know one of the people on here talked about, will you get these slides? Yes, I will send you the download of the deck. I do always like to practice what we preach. So if you found value in today's training, I always would love it if you would go on our Medical Marketing Wiz Google listing and leave us a review. So that's how you go ahead and do that. A couple other things is if you do schedule a call with me, you are going to get that SEO checklist. We will also make custom Google QR codes for your office that we'll customize for you with your own QR code that you guys can use to start capitalizing and getting more and more reviews. And then this is overall how to get in touch with me. So I am going to go into the chat. Okay, you guys got a lot of questions here. Okay, good. Frozen. Okay, we got that. Okay, what scan is good? Okay, so the one that I do, so this is Dr. Bunis, I think is your name. So the one that I use is it's website.grader, I believe is what it is. It's HubSpot. So HubSpot has a free website scanner. That's the one that I use. So you can just go in and you can, even do this yourself and run a quick scan of your own website. So that's the one that I found. Sometimes there's certain website platforms. So for example, Squarespace websites, sometimes those won't give you the greatest score for speed. I found that sometimes they're not super accurate for those. So that you may want to take with a grain of salt, but overall you get pretty decent results, especially knowing if like the tagging and stuff is done correctly, like your H1 tags, your meta descriptions. It does give you a pretty good result with that, pretty accurate. Let's see. What do you recommend for virtual practitioners? So virtual, yes, you still need a Google business profile. The way that I would set it up, it's very similar to Medical Marketing Wiz's profile. So we're national, like we're all virtual. So you don't come to my home office to meet with me. We meet online. Very similar if you're a telehealth. So your Google business profile, there's a setting on there that you can do where it would say that you don't see people at a physical location. And then what I do is my service area, I pick like the four corners of the country. So I'll put like New York City, I'll put like Seattle, Washington, I'll put LA, and I'll put like Miami, Florida. So that way I've got a map covering the whole entire country. And then SEO is going to be really, really important for you because you're trying to cover a much bigger area than if it's just like a local doctor. So I would argue that SEO is probably arguably more important even for a virtual practice. Let's see, what else do we have? Great info. Love the website scan. Great info. Okay, good. Our fees. Okay, good question, Barbie. So it really is variable. Honestly, guys, we have something that can fit anybody's budget. So we have one package. It's called a quick SEO package. It's a one-time $497 fee where we will get all of your Google business listings cleaned up. We'll get you the QR code. We get you the sign for the office. We do a website analysis and optimization. So like that would be one option. We have clients that we're doing the whole entire program and they're paying, in the thousands of dollars a month per month. So I mean, we literally have something for everybody. We even have something called the Doctor Marketing Toolkit, which is a $97 a month program. So that's why I like to do the strategy call because it gives me the chance to really, figure out what you're doing really well, and then give you a couple of suggestions, whether it be just doing a small package or maybe you just want to do a webinar. And those are like individual projects that we can do too. So it really, we've tried to make it, where, there's something that can really work for anybody's budget. Okay. Free profile. Okay. Or need a paid one. Oh yeah. I hate Yelp. Yep. I hate Yelp too. Okay. So the free profile. Okay. Or need to have a paid one. I think you might be talking about Yelp. I would not pay Yelp. I would just claim your listing, optimize your listing on Yelp. Yelp's whole strategy is basically to not show your good reviews, only show your bad reviews, and then bug you ad nauseum to try to get you to buy their Yelp package. I would just make sure that your listing is claimed and I wouldn't really fall for their, I was just the call right before this. I was on, somebody was spending $500 a month on Yelp. Probably not going to make the phone ring that much. So it's important to have that, but it's not the be all end all. I would probably put that money towards a more comprehensive SEO program. All right. Rachel is asking, so the quick package that I was talking about, Rachel, is really the Google My Business optimization is the main thing. So we can definitely chat about that if you want to on a call. So awesome. Hey, great engagement, you guys. Again, I apologize for the little glitchiness at the beginning. I will get this re-recorded real quick. And I'll get the video sent out to everybody so you guys can watch the replay. And then, yeah, looking forward to doing more of these. We'll have another one next month. I'm going to do one on AI coming up where we can talk a little bit about that. That's obviously a very, very hot topic right now. I'm going to be doing one on like how to start your marketing. So for those of you that maybe are just getting started, we're going to be doing some on social media, email marketing, events, webinars, podcasting. So we'll have a lot of good stuff for you guys here in the future. But thank you very much. I'll let you guys get back to seeing patients, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks.